Alright, I'm tired of taking this turn quickly. I haven't thought it well enough, and not sure that we will, but we're going to get two tanks for there. We'll grab a couple fighters for here. We're going to build a fighter over here. Because, you know, they can fly here, wherever we need them to. So, I could have built some troops here and moved them next turn, but with the bombers sitting there, I'm not really going to have a whole lot of functional movement with them. And we need to keep getting fighters in here. There's a chance, actually, that we might be able to hold G15 Persia. He could make it so it's not, but we'll see if he does. So, I'm going to say we're going to go with this, and we're just going to see what happens. I do need one of these guys going over. That'll be our only attack. There we go. Nice. Nice. Double nice. There we go. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed that we have stretched this Persia plug out as long as we have. Maybe we should be pushing more, going ahead and turning, shifting, and pushing more this way now, because it is getting harder and harder to take the Philippines later. But when we do decide to shift, we're going to push pressure Philippines, Manchuria, and Tokyo all at the same time. So, and his stack. So hopefully we're just setting up to build a shift, build a bunch of transports, and then hit. I haven't really thought out the logistics of that because my head hurts too much. But there we go. And Russia gets to just chill again. Nothing for them to do. I've lost track of what this was. I don't really know. 100 points. I think we were 100 and a little over that. So again, Germany, U.S. matching. UK just slightly more than Japan. We may just be stuck here for a while. So, there we go. Alright, Germany 14. We keep plugging away here. Literally plugging. Persia plugging. So he built 4 artilleries, put a tank in here, and then 10 infantry. So 7 went there, presumably 2 went there, and then maybe 1 back here somewhere in Germany, I guess. I guess I should keep an eye on that. That, you know, maybe he slips and gives me a shot there. But I've got 4 units in an air. Nope, not happening. So, any case, we can plug Persia again through G15. It just means I'm going to have to sacrifice a U.S. transport and or go ahead and split out a 36 on the next turn. Which isn't necessarily a horrible thing, other than it does open up the possibility for Japan to drop some fleet if he decides to. I don't think he will, based on how he's played. And it may not be the right decision to do that, because the Allied fleet's going to be right back, and then we're certainly going to have them outnumbered still. So I don't know if he'll do that. So I can make that decision on U.S.'s turn. The hard part here is I did have to sit here and I had to calculate out what does Persia G15 look like, and what would it take for defense? So what I could say is my defense, I'll be able to move these guys in, so we'll have 5 AA guns in defense. Woohoo! We're going to have 32, 77. These guys will move in. So 82. These guys will move in. 84 infantry, 10 artillery, 11 tanks. And if that's all that we had move in, then I can plug in fighters. So knowing that he's got 69, 38, 36, and his 2 bombers, 6 fighters still that can hit there. So if I then plug that in, it tells me that I would need 28 fighters to make it a 50-50-ish battle here, but it would be rather profitable, almost 20, plus 20 for him in that regards. So looking at fighters, I know I need 8 fighters in here for J14 to protect my fleet, so I've got to pull one of the UK out. I need to fly these 2 in. I could fly these 4 in, so that's 6 going in, 1 coming out, so that's 5 I can add to what's already there. There's 22, so I can only do 27 fighters. So, okay. How many infantry / artillery do I need to add to get it back to 50-50? 2 of them makes it 50-50 at only plus 5 for him. So that would mean transport sacrificing to grab 2 from here, from Egypt most likely, so that I can still keep this up. Or taking the transport over and moving the fleet to cover it. I would need to cover versus 2 Japan bombers. That's one reason I didn't redo this one. I only, didn't put infantry in here because I wanted his fighters to fly up here. When his fighters were here, then he had 8 Germans planes sitting facing this. Now I only have 2 German planes I have to worry about for U.S. going in there. And then, we'll see where he positions his bombers. So we could have up to 7 bombers we have to worry about defending against without fighters. So we'd have to have UK coming in there as well next turn. And then UK would have to, they'd be able to pull their fighters, but then if he moves his German Air Force in there. So it gets sticky, iffy to move the fleets in and out. But maybe I could just sacrifice 1 transport and I build another transport next turn. And that buys me a little bit more time. We'll have to decide. Well, I have to really decide now. I think I'm still on the side of the longer we can hold this, the better. And it may be worth the 7 IPC sacrifice. Because I have to decide that now, because UK is going to go ahead and leave their units in there. If UK leaves their units in there, US has got to back them up. So we shall see what that brings, is what all that says. But we're going to go ahead and plug G15 as well. I forgot I do need to calculate real quick what I need to have for my UK here, if I can squeeze out a few more UKs going that way or not, especially since I got 2 more fighters joining the dead zone unit. So I'm going to do that real quick here. So yeah, we could non-combat up to 4 infantry that way, and we'd be okay with what we got facing over there. I might be a little more comfortable if we say 3, though, because 3 would make it 50-50 on taking. 4 would make it still profitable for me to attack, but only like 33% chance I take it. If I don't take it with UK on a turn, then Japan will be able to move in, these other 2 and then a whole bunch of air. And I would not have much, although we would have all the US coming in. So actually we'd be okay with that. So we can move 4 infantry this way and see what that means for continuing to try to plug Persia potentially into G16. I didn't think I was. I keep saying I'm not going to be able to do it the next turn. There's no way I'm going to do G15. Well, I'm doing G15. There's no way I'm going to be able to do G16. We'll wait till that happens to determine if that's true or not. So we're buying 7 infantry, 2 artillery, and a fighter for UK, a fighter to go in here because I need 2 fighters to come with my carrier, 2 destroyers, and these guys are going to come in here as well. We're going to get 7 ground for down here, 2 for up here. We're going to use 3 of them this turn, and yeah, that's where we'll be. So we'll go ahead and grab that. We'll go ahead and do that. And that's it. Yay. Boo. Them ready, get you guys over there. We need one of you guys coming out here. Keep this cycle going. We'll give 1 artillery there. Give 1 down here. Over there. So the one thing, if I was Blackadder, I would look at getting these Japan bombers more over here where they could still go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but they also could be threatening my fleet over here, not letting me move. They could be threatening the Atlantic. So if I was him, I would like to see him put his bombers here. They can still hit 36. They could come back and hit anything if I tried anything silly over here. 1, 2, 3. You know, they could still fly back into here if they wanted to, you know, risk getting there. They could still fly back into here. So if I was him, I would like to see those bombers here because he can still do everything he's doing with Japan, but then, you know, he's dead zoning here where he could go 6 and then land in here, and he could go here and land in here. He could go here, land back here. So, you know, he could be using them to dead zone all of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So he could be dead zoning all of these with Japan bombers too, and I would be in a lot of trouble. So I'm being thankful that he's keeping his bombers over on this side right now because it's letting me just hold the ground, and I think I should be gaining an infantry to a turn with the income, slight income advantage. And, you know, I may just have to hold this out indefinitely. I may need to pause the video and stop recording. And actually, I think I might say I'm going to, well, no, we're going to watch these next turn because, like I said, I'm going to be creative with this fleet here. So something's going to give. So we'll keep it going for right now. Okay, I think my opponent was psychically reading what I was saying last time, even though I haven't posted the video, because he moved his J bombers to there. That's going to create a major snafu up here. So I'm going to still dump everything in here because I have to. But he could do 6 fighters, 2 bombers at a 50-50. And then follow that up by 7 bombers after UK can only build whatever. So we got to hope for some pretty good luck on that 50-50-ish battle up there. That with 41 IPC, UK can build enough to protect against 7 bombers. It does mean that he would then weaken his German force, which he's about to break Persia. And so that would allow Persia then to stand, but I'd be looking at a possible sea lion too. If he wipes the entire fleet and can confidently drop a fleet at the same time and knowing that the bombers are going to come through and wipe everything else, then we're going to have some trouble. So we might be in some trouble here. But we're just going to move on. I tried to take advantage of the fact that he wasn't putting those bombers over there, and he caught me. He caught me with my hand in the cookie jar. So, in any case, we're going to have to bail out of here. I looked at a couple solutions, couple ideas. We could sacrifice the transport this way or sacrifice the transport that way. But sacrifice the transport this way, again, it bottlenecks this by 1 turn, so every one of these is going to fall 1 turn later, so it may probably very well be worth the 7 income. Coming out here, you know, every turn is going to be a 2 income, so in 4 rounds from now, it'll have made up its money. But I really need the transports in order to get into Philippines, and I need them in the next couple turns, so I'm going to try. We're just going to move the entire Navy over here, potentially followed by the UK Navy. We're going to open up the gates here maybe, but then we're going to be coming back and slamming them shut coming back. So we're going to see how this goes. I'm not sure if this is the right play. I'm not thinking hard enough on these to really analyze it, but I'm also going to put a fighter carrier down here in 11. We're dropping our 6 infantry for our transports. We're going to drop 2 in here, and we had 4 IPC left, so I'm going to drop here so that we can, when we come back, build another transport here and be able to grab and run kind of thing, or maybe even 2 transports. We'll see. So I don't know that this is the right play. I'm going to be honest. I got myself this multinational combined navies, combined armies here, and combined up here. It's rough. It's not ideal. We are going to do that because I'm bringing an extra guy anyway, so I'm going to give him that that bit, so we'll see how he handles that. Maybe that'll tempt his fighters this way instead of hitting the fleet. Unfortunately, I'm taking all 3 of these guys, so I can't hit these guys. I'm going to have to rely on UK to take them out this time. So that is our only battle. Woohoo! At least we won our entire combat without any casualties. Click there. Oh yeah, 2, 4, 3. Okay, yeah, that's right. So we are going to bring UK in to defend against the 2 bombers, or 7 bombers, but the 2 bombers can't hurt them. So we'll bring some in. We'll shift some out here. The good news is he's got no pressure here. So if I can still have 2 UK carriers and 4 fighters, we still are putting that pressure on these sea zones. And we're going to be pulling fighters out of here next turn, in all likelihood, I should say. Or we can just drop 4 fighters, although we're probably not going to build fighters because we're going to be building up here. I don't know. This got a little bit more complex than I was ready for this to get. And I wasn't ready to think into this. It all came down to back to having to give that up because we had to build so much Atlantic Fleet early. All because of a G1 sub taking C-Zone 10. That's how important that ended up being in this game. Crazy. Oh, whoop, we don't want all 8 up there. We want 6 up there. Want 2 there. 6 there. Oh, we need to check our defense profile. All right, I think that's good. Russia does what Russia's been doing best. Sit and do nothing. Alright, this is gonna be an interesting call. Do they hit that with the 6 fighter 2 bombers? You know, our 9 units in there, knowing that he's got 7 bombers following up for the 1-2? Or does he come down here and hit this and then just think he's gonna use his 7 bombers and then we can build and then hopefully untangle this mess, flying fighters over as we need and whatnot? Or does he decide to try to bring his fighters down here? If he brings his G fighters down into here this turn, then it's going to get ugly because I'm going to bring all of this to defend against the G fighters in order to pull the U.S. Navy back out. This is why this gets so ugly. These multinational fleets, especially in turn orders. So we'll see. We may just goof this up, but I can't think anymore on this, so here we go. Alright, I am pretty sure we are now observing the breaking of the Allies. I don't know how we're going to be able to turn our front on Japan and not just let Germany continue to pour right into India and on into Burma. I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. We're gonna see. We're gonna try and do some builds and do some creative stuff to see if we can do something. But now I think the tide is starting to turn as he goes to break Persia. We could, if we wanted to continue to stack here. And that would be by UK pulling 4 infantry over or the US pulling 4 with their transports over in this turn. And then hanging out in the C-Zone 34 a little bit longer. My concern there is one, if the U.S. do it, then we got to bind the U.K. to it, and if he moves his U.K. fighters down into Caucasus, then that really binds me up again with the cross fleets, cross air forces. So, and if I did that, that would give Japan the ability to then stack into Yunnan, and then we're trading these 2 guys, right? And I don't really want to let that happen. I don't know how we're going to contain. And even if we just continue to stack Persia, this doesn't feel like a winning game. It did. Just continuing the status quo, I feel like he's slowly building and on me. Granted, he's abandoned this, but he also realizes I can take there and he can still threaten back and, you know, whatever. But, yeah, I'm just not really sure what all it means at this point. What I do know is my fleets are stuck here because if I pulled my UK out, then I'm putting two transports and 2 destroyers at the mercy of 7 bombers. I could pull a fighter out. I can't really go to here either because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. the bombers. We got C-Zone 3 covered, so I'd have to get enough up there to cover the bombers. I can't really move my transports to there. I mean, I could move one out here if I wanted to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, but I don't know what that really gains me. Nothing that I really perceive. So we're kind of stuck here. And then when it comes US's turn, they can't pull out because then I've only got 5 to the 6 and 2 because he stacked Northwest Europe. Now the fighters can go 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll be stuck here all the way until UK 16 with all of these boats. So, yeah. Not sure what that all means. They're going to have to come down to the southern part. Definitely the move of the Japan bombers there. I'm surprised it didn't happen a while ago, but that's going to really make things even harder at this point. I need 2. So I need 2 fighters to be in 34 with a carrier and destroyer. That'll give me 4 defenders to the 2 German bombers when the U.S. fleet leaves. And then we're going to work on stacking C-Zone 36 back on U.S. 15, UK 16. I think I'll let US hit that guy. But that means, just to make sure, so C-Zone 37 is a free C-Zone. I can't take this guy because he does have the 10 fighters and a bomber that could hit there. And I don't have enough to defend that. But I can move my fleet out to here, and there's really nothing that can touch me. So I can lay my fighters back down here. So here we go. We're giving up ground. I don't like it. We're going to have to make some sort of play down here in Japan, and I just don't, I've been looking at it and staring at it. I just don't know what that is. Of course. By doing this, this still leaves me at least 4 fighters that can be hitting 60-62, and the carriers could go land on them, just to decrease any thoughts of building there. Unfortunately, all these sea zones are hot because of the 8 bombers. I can't even take them back to India. I just got to park them right here, which is why I bought a couple more transports for this turn, because then we'll at least have the guys piled up here. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I want to see how many units we need to leave here to keep this dead zone from them. And I think that answer is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm sure everyone in there's moved. Everyone up there's moved. So there we go. Again, not real super happy with my options. I built some transports to help. Again, we're going to try to come US 15 with some builds and then come back in here on UK 16 and have enough to push them out of Philippines by threatening the Philippines, the coast, the factory, and Tokyo all at the same time. So hopefully that means we'll give up the Philippines. But it's going to be very expensive buys. That's not bid adding ground, and that's going to be pushing units heavy air this way, which may open the door on India, which is my biggest fear here with this play. Okay, so we're moving along in the game here. This is where we're giving up the Persia air. So Japan, they bought only 1 air this time. They bought 1 fighter. They bought some more ground for protecting Tokyo. They got 4 in there, 3 down there. That gives them 13 fighters, 8 bombers they could put in Philippines on J16. And I went ahead and calculated out what US 16, UK 17 looks like with just J. Potentially they could fly a couple German fighters over there, or maybe they on G16 they move them somewhere down here so that they can also reinforce. I don't know. But we're just going to have to play a flexible game here. Like I said, this might be the starting of the fall of the Allies here. So yeah, purchase. Here's what we got to do. The interesting thing, so this is the one strategy I want to talk about at least, is by dropping carriers. So I'm going to drop 2 U.S. carriers here and bring all that U.S. air in here. So if you think about it, if I've got 4 carriers in here, and so I have 8 fighters on my plane, on my carriers in Season 36, they can go 1, 2, hit these guys, 3, 4, and land on carriers being built. So if I built 4 carriers next turn, not that that's necessarily what I want to do. I want to threaten it more than actually pull through it. I want to threaten it, and hopefully he bails out of Philippines altogether. But if we build 4 carriers, then we could have those 4 plus we'll have 8 fighters. The 8 fighters there. Plus we're gonna have 8 fighters here. They can go 1, 2, 3, and then land on my 4 carriers that I have going into Season 48. So that's 16 fighters that I could bring in. If I only had 2 carriers here, I could do it with 4 and 4, and so it's 8. So each carrier I build in Season 36 this time increases what I can hit Philippines with, and or anything over along the coast here, not up to here, but just in Season 61, increases what I can hit them with by 4. So that's 4 extra fighters that can hit the Philippines by building a couple carriers. Whereas if I built transports, it would give me 2 ground units each I could hit the Philippines with, but obviously 4 fighters is greater than 2 ground units. So we're going to do that. We cannot do that with the UK because the UK doesn't have a factory that they could build a carrier to land on. So the UK is going to be limited to the 6 fighters that they can put on their carriers actuality. But long story short, I ran the calculators. If they flew in all 3 of their fighters and their 8 bombers on J-16, it's a battle that I would go ahead and take in the Philippines of 1-2 U.S. UK. So I think they'll fly out of it. We can take it, and then we can start expanding. Once we have the Philippines, we can start expanding our income here. Now, like I said, my bigger concern is we're probably going to end up losing India doing so. And that's a bit of a concern for me. I hope we can hold on to India, but I don't think we will, unfortunately. We'll see. But that's why I built those transports with the UK down here. It helps keep our potential threat on here, our threat over here. It gives us some mobility, especially with us building some carriers. Hopefully we'll get a little more flexibility and mobility in how we can move our fleets just enough to hopefully offset what we're going to be losing into Africa and India here coming up. Meanwhile, we're going to try and go up there. So I am saving 9. I was going to build 3 extra infantry and drop them down there. I don't need them down there. I don't need them over here this turn either. But 9, I'm going to have a 47 income. That gives me 56 for next turn, which is the cost of 4 carriers to buy on US 16 to allow me to strike Philippines on US 16. So that's why we're going to save the 9 IPC. So we're buying 2 oh yeah, I forgot I'm buying a bomber in there. So 2 carriers and a bomber. Very weak build, unfortunately, but hopefully this will help us turn the tide against Japan at least. So I gotta be careful. I don't want to use all of these because I want 8 of the fighters to land in C Zone 36. I'm probably gonna double back since I've got enough fighters. I'm probably gonna double back 1 fighter to be in range of C Zone 6 to help unlock these guys. Since we got 3 carriers, we'll get 3 fighters up, in range, and then slowly try and unlock these fleets as well. So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I could go ahead and hit him just a 1-1-1 with the other one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or not use 8 guys here. Let's just use 3 fighters there, and that leaves us 1, and they can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and still do the threat on these guys. Yay, got both of those. Yeah, unfortunately, I do not have enough that I'd be able to stack Union even with the UK and Russian fighters. We loaded them all in there, so we're going to save our units there. Why is it letting me build more than... I was going to say, I shouldn't be able to put more over there. That's kind of strange. Do I want to go ahead and take... I think I do. So he's not in range of bombers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can always come back to meet my transports as needed, but that gives me another one to potentially help with untangling up here. Because on UK's turn, I want to pull out as much as I can. So we're going to have 2, 4, 6. And he's got his 8 bombers sitting down there. What Germany does will kind of help me see what his plans are. But I might just leave the 6 there, pull the transports out, and have this carrier for backup. And let him take those 8 bombers there, because that means he's not defending Philippines and we're wiping that. So that's my thought there. We'll probably leave that. So yeah, so now all 16 of these fighters can hit the Philippines with a 4-carrier build next turn. Again, hoping I don't have to actually do that, but I do need to get the Philippines. Yeah, nothing really good to do with it. I was thinking maybe if we could blitz the Russian tank and do something, but nothing really good to do there. Except for we need one of these guys to stay back. You know, if nothing else, we're going to do our best to make the army have to grind and not use the tanks to blitz for a while. So let's see. Let's talk this out. G16, US 16, G17, US 17 can meet these guys. So we'll have a 12, 13. We'll leave one of those block. You know, a 13 stack here plus transports that we build that could threaten to come back, plus the air, of course. And especially if we get air into here. So hopefully we can make this a treacherous pass, if nothing else, at the same time pressuring here. So we'll take whatever they give us. There we go. Alright, yeah, it's starting to look pretty grim here for us, for the Allies. We can't do our threat and hold on to India and keep him from stacking Yunnan, so he's set himself up so he can drive 36 tanks and 6 fighters in there after Japan gets in. So we got a dead zone this with the U.S., but the only way we could stack India is if we sent everything, all of our ground, except for the 2 artillery that would match these 6 coming back from here. And then we sent half of our U.S. air, which meant we wouldn't be striking the Philippines anyways. But if we sent everything there, he can stack Japan, bring these guys in, and then we've got whatever that is, 60, 30 units plus then all his Japan air can be striking with these guys into this. So we gotta draw the line right here. So we gotta hold India, we gotta hold, or not India, we gotta hold Burma, and we gotta keep Yunnan dead zoned. So we're gonna have to take one step back, and that's the last step we can afford. If we give up Yunnan or we give up Burma, we're done. So I think we're close to being done. We're gonna have to choose our battle and just let the dice roll here at some point. This many units, we gotta let the dice roll somewhere. But we're not gonna do it in India quite yet. So 7 infantry, two fighters. Don't think we're actually attacking anything. don't see anything that we can attack this turn with UK, unfortunately. This is sad. We're still kind of locked in place here because of these 8 Japan bombers. I wish he hadn't seen that, and I wish he'd kept those bombers sitting over here, but he caught it. Oop. Grab you guys. I could have built boats here if I was thinking about it, but oh well. Yeah, his tanks are 2 back, so we're just going to pull out of there altogether. No reason to risk those guys. That's it. So we'll see if we can draw that line. We'll see around 18-ish if we end up picking a battle and just going with it. Alright, so my ruse, if you will call it that, worked in the sense that Japan got off of the Philippines. So we can take the Philippines, and we're going to go ahead and take New Guinea at the same time since we can. We got to take a little bit of risk, so we're going to be hitting the 4 infantry with 2 ground and 9 planes. And we'll have to sacrifice planes if he gets to that point, because we do need to take it. We don't have time to mess around. And we're going to send a naked transport with a ground, with 2 ground out here. None of his planes can reach it, so it'll be safe. Further planning when the UK comes out. They're going to build 4 more units, and the boats will be able to go to 46. Transports will be able to go to 46 naked, so that on UK 18 they can come back using all 4 transports and bring 8 units right back down. And meanwhile, obviously we're going to use 4 of these units. We're planning on 2 units surviving, 1 in each of these territories, in order to take it. So we'll have 1 in each of those territories surviving. That means we got 2. There's 1 unit, so here 3. So we only need to build 1 more unit here. So we're going to build an infantry there. Plus we need 6 infantry for them. And we can go grow a couple infantry here for these. So that's 9 infantry we can build. And that leaves us enough money to buy 3 planes. We can put all 3 planes here. Or we might put the fighters over here to match up with our growing fleet over on this side of the world as well. Now, we've got 6 fighters, 3 bombers of German we have to worry about. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And 13 with him coming in. So we still can't pull out quite yet. But maybe we'll be able to do something on UK's turn. Maybe we can pull one of these guys out. We'll see. The only attack that Japan did was hitting there. We're not building carriers, so the 8 on the ground can't hit in addition to these guys. So if I hit all of those, these guys can't hit there, so they might as well hit here. Unfortunately, as we bailed out of India, we're going to have to continue to bail out of India because of the fact that they could have stacked and then had a stack on both sides of me and then pushed that in. So again, we're coming down to where we need a dead zone and a stack, and that's where we got to hold our ground. There we go. It's a nice thing with these huge fighter stacks on my side, but unfortunately his huge airplane stacks on his side, you don't need a lot of ground units to take stuff. Which means, again, we're going to turn our eyes over this way. He built 10 infantry, by the way. He right away started building protecting Tokyo and then protecting this stack. But that's our next target, hopefully. Any other attacks? They're just going back. They're collecting. All right. Here we go. I think that's it. Oof. Okay. Whew. I was counting on getting 4 hits right off the bat. We're going to take a fighter. I want to turn the offensive a little bit with the U.S., so. Oh, boy. Are you kidding me? Now that just ruins everything, including the UK play. Oh, that's ridiculous. I mean, the transport's still safe at least, but now I can't park transports here from the UK because these guys can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to have to use the UK to try to take New Guinea now because I'm not going to be coming back again later. So I have to send one of them that way and the rest over here. That's so frustrating. Definitely want the bomber on this side. Question is the fighters. Do we continue to get him over here to make sure we're stable, or do we just assume? Because I'm not counting. I am not counting right now. So we got 8. We've got 9. I think We're going to put them over on this theater. I see no benefit of leaving one because you can just move a stack and it has enough air to kind of crush it pretty easily. So I feel better just pull them on out, pull them on out, pull them out. These two are going to be able to get the 14 infantry together, bringing the boats back, hopefully build a couple more transports and air. And so we'll have a good 30 units at least threatening, so he's going to move enough, and he's going to have to keep this stacked at the same time. So I'm hoping we can contest him here in Egypt. But there we go. Oh, by the way, well, it was supposed to be from where we had stalemated at before. We give up a 1 and a 3 and gain a 3 and a 1. And then the gates open, and our gates got to be open up going this way. It was going to be our next thing, based on which way Germany goes. So the idea was that we were going to still be at the same balance. I mean, we'll still be there once the UK takes it, but I really wanted US to have more money at this point. But whatever, one IPC is one IPC. Unfortunately, that means, you know, we're only about being 3 here and then 3 back. So we only need to build 2 infantry here and then planes, I guess, or boats or whatever. Instead of being able to grab 8 to bring back, we'll only be able to bring 6 back that way. All right, there we go. All right, so unfortunately, Germany is continuing to play rather smart and building a whole lot of infantry, and they are just overpowering me slowly but surely. We're going to play this a little longer, even though we're at a pretty good disadvantage, but it's not hopeless yet. We got to see how he looks to divide his forces here, here, and here. So he did move his tanks down to Persia, so they're no longer threatening here. So I don't want to do on the UK's turn, but US's turn, I think we're going to go possibly make this a heavy, hard trade for Japan and still hopefully have this stacked. I think we're still going to be able to stack this against the Germans for a turn because he moved all his planes over here. So he's only got 2 bombers now as far as planes pressuring. So I got a little bit of mobility that I can stuff some US and Russian units in here, throw a couple AAs, throw in several of these AAs, 3 AAs, right? 4 AAs we could stick in there for his 20-some planes that he likes to hit it with. So we could threaten out a good chunk of his planes possibly, which would then free up the navies and free up splitting them up and, all sorts of possibilities at that point. So I do think we're going to try that next turn, but we can't do it with UK because the UK has to not grab units and has to get out of the way, and I just don't think this is the turn to do it on, is bottom line. To have enough to stack here. I really probably should run calculators, but these mass numbers are just too hard for my head right now. And we are way behind, so we're just playing to go. So we're going to build 2 infantry for here. One of the transports has to come over here and take New Guinea. So that means we'll have 3 transports coming over to 46. They've already got 4 unit infantry, so 2 others will fill them up. And then that leaves me to buy a destroyer, carrier, to try to work on untangling this with these fighters. And that left us enough money to build a fighter. I haven't decided if I'm going to add that over here on this side or if we'll add it on this side yet. We'll see. I'm thinking we'll do it over there because I think we can withstand these 1821 units, and there's not much. Well, I mean, there is. We'll see. I don't know. Let's just play the turn. Hopefully the UK are better at amphibious assault. We could hit that guy with some fighters. But if I want to try to make that move I was talking about, I need the fighters here helping stack Burma. Let's see what we can do. This is going to get iffy. I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm getting confused myself at the moment. Turn orders are blowing my brain. If I don't take it, then I gotta land the planes there in Egypt. Alright. The bomber can reach, but again, not ideal. Well, I don't know. We'll get back to that. Because we also got these UK 8 fighters, or 8 bombers we gotta worry about airstriking. Oh, come on. Don't do this. Do not do this. Thank you. Oh, those 2 transports are hanging out to dry now. Are you flipping kidding me? Well, that changes my plans up because I got to get a carrier over there. Or no, the 8 bomb. 8 can that is all these guys can reach it? Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I can't defend that. Golly. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, all the fighters can reach it. I can't defend them. That's just stupid. Stupid, stupid, stupid. That's all I gotta say. Talking about stupid. Let's just do this, please. Hello, 8 fighters have missed. Are you kidding me? I should have quit. Should have quit while I could. Oh, are you kidding me? Well, I guess I know where that fighter's going now. Good God. It's not even worth putting the infantry there. I was going to drop my infantry there, but now it's worth him to hit it with 1. And
continuing to talk about tax strategies, from everything you just broke down, this is so important when it comes to the big picture that is a retirement plan.
Sigh, 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 sigh. I can't even put my guys here now either. Are you? Oh, right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So now I gotta inefficiently move the. That just blows. Well, I'm gonna have 2 infantry coming up here, so. Maybe we can get a hit back. That round just blew chunks. Well, whatever. Okay, so now we gotta make something happen, and so I really probably should try and. This is where if I was really wanting to think this out extra hard, I would put this into 3 rounds from now. What this whole mess could look like, but I'm not. We're gonna play a little bit. I did do some calculators just to make sure I can hold Burma against G18. After that, I didn't go further, which is going to be crazy because I'm going to try and put pressure on Japan by semi-stacking Yunnan here. Meanwhile, I did do calculators on these two, and I'm going to give him 50 to 60% shots on my fleets with his Germans, but since he pulled his Japan bombers back, I'm going to take advantage while I can and untangle these. And again, I'm at a point where I'm okay giving him 60% positive IPC battles for him because I am losing this game. So I need to give risk. So that's what we're going to do. So we are going to buy a fighter. We're going to buy a couple transports because, yes, he killed my transports over here with the fighter. And unfortunately, I can't even really do anything here other than I'm going to bomber fighter strike him and hope my bomber at least hits him. Just to take him out of the picture because we're going to be going back into defensive mode here. Really cruddy because I can't even go back and take it because now the 8 bombers are dead zoning the C zone and I can't stack 36 and 49, so that now makes that going to stay in Japan hands. That was just very frustrating to lose both of those battles there. I suppose I was trying to set this up what I'm getting ready to try and do and not have to use very many. I wanted as many UK fighters in here as possible, so that's why I didn't want to send the carrier for UK. I mean, that would have been the safe thing to do, but I was just, again, I can't be safe right now. I'm behind. I'm losing. There's no room for safe. So, anyways, here we go. Buying some ground for here, buying transports for here, and then buying a fighter for over here to complement my 6th fighter for my 3 transports. Oh, yeah, and a factory for Philippines. We're going to take the shot there. Again, taking minimal shots, but whatever we can just to kind of hold the front, slow them down, divert units that way versus this way will help this. So let's make sure we do kill this guy. No chances, just kill him. I'm not bitter at all from New Guinea. Okay, I think that's it. Expected, but that's one less fighter I have to have on the boat, so I'm gonna take it. Not wonderful, but as a necessary evil. Alright, we got a hit. Whiff. Good. Finish him. Thank you. Alright. So that leaves 4, 6, 10 versus his 8, 9, 10 that can hit it. It's slightly in his favor, like 60%. This is 9 versus 9 that can hit here, and it's more of a 50-50-ish. These are just the risks I got to take at this point. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to push a bunch of Russians into there and make it as awkward of a take as either awkward. If I can't push UK in on UK's turn because of Germany, what Germany does, then at least it'll be just an awkward trade of trading, either risking his air or trading off a lot of land. Or, depending on what Germany does, maybe we can throw enough UK in here to stack here and stack here, or we just give this up and we just go into a stack if Germany comes too much down here, and then we curl back this way and don't even worry about holding on the peninsula and just see what our massive stack can do going back that direction and how he responds to it. So, or massive stack going up this direction or whatever, you know, we'll make him chase us and see how well he moves his units if that's what it comes to. No comment. Let's see how many we got here. We got 91, 110. I can move like 14 of them that way, I think. Maybe is that what I can do? Let's see, 49, 47. That'd leave me an AA. Let me do my math here. 96. I don't like stacks this big. It makes too much thinking, too much math in here. All right, let's just make sure that we keep this relatively decent. We got 15 artillery. We got 15 artillery. We got 12 tanks. We got 12 tanks. We got 20 fighters. We got 20 fighters. Almost to take another infantry out of there, but we're stretching it as is, I guess. We are not going to mobilize anything. So there we go. So this should keep this at a 50-50 neutral IPC battle if he was to take it now. Now he is bringing in 21 units and whatever else, you know, blah, comes in. But I just don't want to sit here. I could drag this and drag this and drag this and just sit here in this peninsula. But I don't want to do that. I want to try to press forward. An interesting... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... Oh, no, you can't. Okay, an interesting thing that he could set up is get his German bombers, German Air Force down here instead of messing with this, and then catch me in these moves and then have the Germans strike UK while they're open, and then I can't reinforce the U.S. fleet and then have the U.S. Japan wipe out the U.S. fleet. That's the kind of issues that we get with these turn order tidbits. So, of course, I probably just cursed myself, just like I said when he needed to push his Japan bombers in Caucasus, and all of a sudden they appeared there. Now all of a sudden German Air Force is probably going to appear down here. But here we go. Alright, so for better or for worse, Germany did just build 19 infantry. So they're again just amassing the massive German army, which is probably going to overpower me at some point, but hopefully maybe we can outmaneuver them somehow. So the good news, like for example, he moved 36 tanks over here, so that means pressure's off of Burma this turn, so we can stack Yunnan and dead zone Kwangtung, so we can push Japan back a little bit. So we'll see. But while he's amassing large amounts of infantry, we're still having to build fighters and boats, and so that's the weakening part. So a little rougher for us, but we're going to build 3 infantry, 2 tanks, and a fighter. 2 tanks going down here for my 6 units. I built tanks because we're going to move the UK up, and they're going to need to, and then they'll be coming up, and then hopefully helping to keep moving the Japan stack as best as we can. He pulled 19 back this way. I didn't pay attention to where all his units were, but I'm not sure what's going to go on with this. And we can at least make this a slog for them at the very least. Make it slow for them to expand. So, not to mention if he bails out, the tank's out, then we do have six units on transports plus 8 fighters that can hit there. In addition to, I'll have my 12, so we'll have 20 ground units, 8 fighters, and a bomber that can hit Egypt. So he's got to be mindful of that as he pushes forward. As well as trying to get any reinforcements through the arch. We'll just be, able to hammer. So, and then he's got a blank here, so we'll see. I'm thinking he'll pull the tanks back to here or here when I go and stack here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So, in any case, that's our buy. We're going to save a couple. 3 infantry are going up here because we're going to use 3 infantry this turn. We're going to get this all untangled, thankfully. No reason taking this with 2 because he's just going to blast it with a whole bunch of air anyways, so no benefit there. No reason to waste my units on that one because he's the one trading at advantage right now. We're going to leave this guy behind to block. this is all going to be non-combat moves, so that's all our combat. So that gives us 9 there. He's got 3 bombers, 4. He could bring 4 fighters and build 2 carriers. So I feel pretty good about that. I need to double check my numbers here real quick on fleet defense as well as at Burma. These numbers are also tiny. Yeah, I think it's one slight adjustment. I don't need it, and we actually got a little extra flexibility this turn because of his positioning, so of putting all the air back there and the tanks back. So that should give us lots of units targeting here. Probably if he goes here and pulls flight back, I don't know. He's probably okay there, but maybe not. Maybe we got enough to put pressure there and move our fleet and wipe that with, well, no, not 2 units of US. But 20 units of Russia, followed by the UK's. So I think that is good. Don't need to move the fighters in there because they can defend here and attack ahead still. So there we go. Which theater we want to put the fighter in? We can, if we have to, we can move US around as needed. So I think I'm going to put them down here. There we go. Whole lot of less. Okay, so he continued to make purchases I think are very wise. 13 infantry, 5 artillery, very ground-based, dividing it out, building it out. And then he also made the move that I feel like was his best move, which I was hoping he would not make, which is put the tanks all in Persia and brought his fighters down so that they can pressure both Burma and Sichuan, right? Yeah, Sichuan at the same time, and brought his bombers down. The bombers bring it interesting. They could try and do like a 1-2 thing here, but we're not. There's a couple battleships involved in that, so I don't think that's something that they would jump at. So 6 infantry, 2 artillery, 1 fighter. I'd like to get, because he's floating around with these 10 planes with Japan right now, and right now UK's got 9 defenders. I'd like to progressively build up to 1 more carrier. So we're going to drop another fighter in here. And that way the US can operate separately from the UK. Right now, this turn, because he brought his planes down here, we do get a little bit of freedom with how we maneuver them around. This sea zone's got nothing to it, so we're going to be able to fly our fighters in like we talked about last time to help dead zone Egypt, because we don't need to worry about protecting these transports from anybody unless he moves his bombers, which he might. He might move them back over here, and then in which case we do got to protect them again. But anyways, there we go. I'm going to go ahead and drop 2 down here, just because he's only got 2 fighters I can hit. Well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I guess he could bring the bombers, but we're going to drop 2, make him pull a little bit more down this way. I'm only going to move 1 of those guys forward, I think. Otherwise, I don't think there's any other attacks that we're going to be doing. Because I did build enough ground for them as well, so... I'm willing to go with 1 less fighter against a 12-8. It's a 50-50, but we got 2 battleships, so if he fails, he loses all his planes, and I get my battleships back, and we're still protected-ish from 3 bombers. So, with that, though... I need to double-check my numbers, but I think this is what we're going to go with. I want to keep as much pressure on here to keep Japan from stacking here if possible, so that these guys can pull back. If not, then we just run them and make them take a shot at them. Probably this way. But I'm hoping we get enough to make him think twice about stacking Kwangtung. I do need to double check my numbers on Burma there. So what I'd written down is that he has 80, 42, 36, 5 fighters, 3 bombers. Other fighters are out of the way, so that is what he's got for attack. Defense. I'm giving him a pretty positive battle. And this is because I am behind, so I'm giving him, if you ran it all the way through, plus 27 attack or profit, 2/3 chance for that. But one thing you gotta look at, first round he's starting at a -15. Second round he's taking himself to a -33. Third round it starts to come back, and then fourth round comes in. So he's gotta be willing to take 3 rounds of predicted significant losses, and he's got to commit to going 4 rounds at a 65% shot. And because I'm behind, I'm willing to give him those kind of dice. and let the dice roll as they may be. So I need 101, 12, 14, 22. So we got 7 more infantry to come in. So 7, 52, 59. You know what? I could bring these other 2 back, actually, if I need to. Let's see what we got. 59. That gives me 100, 101 with this guy. I already forgot what I said I needed. 101. Okay, so that is the 101. I wonder if committing these other 2 U.S. guys to come back might be worth it to keep another 2 U.K. infantry up. I'm going to check that real quick. Yeah, I don't know if it's going to make enough difference, but I'm going to go ahead and commit 2 less of my infantry just to really try to make him think twice on stacking Kwang Tung. Problem is he can do Japan followed by German air. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. If these guys get cut off, they get cut off. Let's see. We got 12 plus... no artillery coming in. We got 12 tanks going to 14 tanks. Which, yeah, 14 tanks, 12 artillery, 22 fighters. 18, 19, 20. 2 fighters there. Now, another thing we could consider is rotating our fighters in the fleet, right? So the UK can go here to defend against Germany, but then they can come back into Season 36 to defend against Japan builds, which means we can probably commit like 6 more fighters. We got to plan on a J build, a J-19 potential Air Force build. But then we can maybe land 6 more fighters and keep a little bit more ground forward for UK. Let's see what that looks like. So yeah, getting creative with the fighters. The most Japan can build is two bombers that'll pressure Season 36 on J-20. So we'll need 10 fighters to cover that. We got 3 carriers for UK, so we can put 6 UK fighters back up here. So we need 4 US fighters. So we can commit 4 fighters coming down on into here, where we've already got 24 would be added to it. So we'll have 24 fighters. Is that right? 18, 19, 20. 2 plus 4 is 26 fighters. 26 fighters that we can have down there. And then I need my 14 tanks, which we got 2 coming in. We got our 14 tanks, 12 artillery, because we're going to leave the UK artillery up. 4 AAs, got that. 96 infantry. So now we've got 52, 53, 60, 99. I feel like there was more than that. Hold on, let's pull 3 of these guys out first. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that's right. I got my 2 U.S. guys that we're going to bring back too. that we decide we'll bring them back too. So let's pull 2 more, because that's what I want. 17 gives me a good number. 17, and that gives me 4 artillery, 2 tanks, and 13 fighters that can hit here of the UK. And that leads to a favorable if Japan goes in there. That gives me a very favorable battle. Now he could throw his Germany fighters in there, but I'll know Jay's going in there first, and if Jay goes in there, then I'll crash my Russian infantry into him to weaken it, soften up just a little bit. So I don't think he'll come back to stacking here. And if he doesn't stack there, then maybe next turn we can pivot down and then we can stack there maybe next turn. We'll see. Almost wonder how it looks. Yeah, no. We'll have that AA we can move over. We're going to keep it just as it is. We're going to go right like that. These are just for trading. I eventually need to build up enough offensive firepower to create an offensive this way or this way. So we are going to start adding some artillery occasionally with our fighters. So there we go. So we'll have enough here. I got to remember to bring my 4 fighters and 3, 7, 10 U.S. infantry down into here. And then cycle UK fighters back up. But that should get us Kwangtung dead zoned. And hopefully maybe we can stack it the next turn with these guys, and a few planes. Of course, he's going to have these guys marching in and building, so probably not. We'll see. All right. So Japan bought 1 fighter and then ground. Let's see. Tank and 4 infantry. So that's what he's building there. So he's making sure Tokyo is safe. Eventually, I do want to add some more transports for potentially sacrificing as needed, or just a major stack to make him have to peel back. But he's already peeled back enough that I don't need to do that. I'm threatening enough as is. We're gonna hit Egypt this turn, and we'll be able to dead zone Egypt, basically, unless he moves all his tanks, which, again, if he moves his tanks, then we make him move over here. So we're really trying to pin his tanks to Persia. If he moves them this way, then we can start to put pressure into him this direction, because we don't need as much defense here, so we can move him up. If he moves them to Africa, then we can really move and start expanding this way like we started to, but he did counter it correctly. So hopefully we're just going to try to maneuver him out of position, but at least we're holding it to trading Egypt. As long as his tanks are in Persia, again, if he moves up, then we can also push our stacks into Egypt, since he won't be dead zoning anymore, and try to push that back too. So that's the whole point of trying to pin him there. Now this is just this gets very complicated and counting. So I gave him a 55% shot on the fleet with the 12 fighters, 8 bombers, but with 2 battleships in there, that can be very risky. I mean, you could just break your heart as Japan on that, and then the Allies' fleets really start to run free. So it doesn't surprise me he didn't take that. I probably wouldn't take that if I was Japan either. But with his fighter being built here, that means I can go ahead and count on only needing 8 fighters in C-Zone 36 for J20, which I have 3 empty UK transports that I can plan on 6 fighters coming back to if I want to go ahead and get all but 2 U.S. fighters here. So we're going to build 2 U.S. fighters because we have extra IPC building in our 7 spots. I'm even going to build 4 infantry for East USA so I can start getting them off of Canada, where we can start to maybe threaten a 1-2 on France and make them have to build that up a little bit more. So we've got extra IPC, so I like fighters and infantry for the most part here right now. So 2 fighters, since we're on a limited unit count, even though fighters and tanks and such are not as good of attack or defense per IPC, but that's if you could build more infantry and artillery. Like if I could build 10 infantry and artillery instead of an extra fighter, then, instead of a fighter, then 10 infantry artillery would be better. But I can't. I can only build 9 units regardless. So now it's a fighter is flat out better than a infantry, regardless, when we're limited to only 9 units. So I'm building two fighters here. On UK 20, I can bring 6 fighters into C-Zone 36 to protect the fleet. So that'll make 8 fighters. I can put all 8 of these fighters on into Burma in order to allow me to squeeze a few more units out of Burma and into unit, a few more ground that way. So that's what our move is going to be focusing on, because eventually we want to get enough here. If we can squeeze enough out here into Yunnan to eventually stack Kwang Tung if he keeps his tanks sitting there, then we can start to pressure Japan and try to slowly work our way into China. This is the part in the KJF where you start getting into the long, slow grind game. So that's what we're facing here at this point. I'd love to do a jump and take this factory and shut that factory off, but the reality is, with 55 units, that can hit there on a retaliation, that's just going to be challenging. I mean, we've got 13 fighters and 6 ground that can come with them, so that's 19 ground we can bring with the UK, but we've only got 8 ground we can bring with them, so that's only 27 units. I guess the 2 Russian fighters can make it. So, 29 units versus 56, and we just had to massively build transports to get enough to do that jump. Is it worth the occasional hit just to shut the factory down for a turn? Or 2 turns, I guess, technically, right? We want to be able to build 1 turn, yeah. Shut it down for a turn, possibly. Will that make him pull more units off of here to allow a stack to happen here? Possibly. So that is something that is not out of question. But we need the German bombers, to be away from where they can't reach C-Zone 36 so that we can do it. Like, if we did it right now, we certainly couldn't do it because we'd be leaving 4 UK 2-hitters with his 3 bombers there. So that if he hit them and even just took out a couple of them, then all of a sudden Japan can then strike the U.S. fleet and sink the U.S. fleet. So we got to be careful. We need these guys to go back over here before we can make that plan. So we're not going to do that yet, but it's stuff that's on my mind, is keeping an eye on doing a 1 here, make them pull back to maybe that gives us room to maneuver into Kwang Tung and then come back. But we also have to hold the line here. So we still may be 10, 15 turns away from being able to do that. I don't know. So, all right. That's a lot of talking. Here we go. Our purchase. We're going to buy 10 infantry, a tank, and 2 fighters. So we're getting some pretty good money now, so that's good. I want to trade this as efficiently as possible right now. We are going to take this one for the U.S. I could go here, but I really want to trade off Japan units whenever I can because Germany's massive. We're not really going to dent them at all. We'll make sure we hit them. I hope. If we don't hit them, then what the heck? Yeah, I don't want to send... I'll be able to send a UK infantry in there, or... I can't remember. This is one that Kwangtung, that starts Japan, right? So we don't want a Russian guy to go in there. Well, regardless, we wouldn't want a Russian guy. Unless it was a US is starting a US one. Then the Russian guy could go in there, but it doesn't. That starts Japan, so we can't do that. So, but we got the UK guys that can take it if need be. All right, I think that's all the fun attacks. That is not good. No bueno. 1, 2, 3, 4. Dang it. I hate to do this. Whiff. Not what we wanted there, though. At least we killed the infantry, so you can't do an infantry airstrike on my 6th infantry. We're not going to miss this one, at least. Thankfully, he missed back, though. All right, let's double check our numbers here. I mean, this is where I gotta add the calendar out to the calculator out to check. So we got 30 fighters. So we got 15. Do we got 15 U.S. fighters coming in there? We do. We got 14 tanks. We got 14 tanks. We got 12 artillery. We got 12 artillery. We need 4 AAs, 2, 3, 4 AAs. We got that. And we want at least 91 infantry in there. We've got 8, 39, 73, 94. So let's push some of you guys up. There we go. 60, 65, 73, 83, 91. There we go. Pushing as much forward as we can there. We're going to be building 2 fighters. 6 fighters will be landing. All right, here we can do what I was talking about. I guess I forgot about that. I didn't have to risk that bomber, but oh well. We risked the bomber. Send him down this way. Here. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's the same. Again, it's the same either way. Question is, do we just want to keep our bigger stack going down here? I kind of do. we're safe there. Actually, it's the only downside with them is they can't come up that way. If I put them here, we can still dead zone. So here we can still dead zone there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, we could bounce all the way back up to there if we wanted to. I don't need to worry about protecting there. They'll come back next turn. Let's see, UK leaves. It's after Germany builds. Don't have to worry about Japan. So we can keep the US parked here, and that gives me access to C-Zone 5, C-Zone 3, as well as coming all around here as needed. So I think we'll keep the fleet itself parked here, just have the fighters in range of Egypt. We'll go that route. Now I could go up here, but it doesn't. I don't actually gain any IPC from that. He'll kill me. He'll kill them easily enough. I could leave people here, make him have to work it, but he could send infantry and tanks to hit the AA. I'm not really sure. Right now, I'm concerned that I'll need to pull most of these guys back, and I won't be able to dead zone this as well next turn. So I think we're just going to pull them all back. Save that defensive power. And there we go. So at least we struck out into China a little bit. Gave Japan a little bit of things to think about. We can get rid of that. And I think that'll be it. All right, so just a real quick update. We are sitting at 79th on the Platinum 7-0. I am going to go ahead and fire up another game so that we can get one while we're ranked, because this might be our peak ranking for a while. So let me get that fired up here real quick. Hopefully we get somebody, I'd love to get somebody in the top 25 or so. So we could really test this out. Let's see. Who are the platinum tops right now? Johnny Kitch, Stewart, Black Tie, Green Pink, Terrence, Goofy, Evoke, Alborn, Darth Hansen. Yeah, those are some of the normal ones up there. So we'll get that firing up. And the reason is, I already looked at this. So Cheap Tent, as you guys have been seeing, is the game that's late and even, and it's going to be a while in that game. That third game that I had in there was when I started up just recently and lost five infantry on West Russia with the West Russia jam. So that game is probably not going to go great. So that's why I wanted to fire one up, because here he did not overlook the fact that we messed up with our fighters there. So we are missing our fleet. He's got most of his planes survived. Didn't even look at how bad it was. So we killed 8 fighters and 1 bomber for our 7 carriers, 2 destroyers, 2 fighters, 2 battleships, and 7 transports. So I'm not even gonna sit here. I was gonna look at it, but there's nothing to look at. This is gonna be a lost game by the time I was able to rebuild this. Japan would be crushing us. Germany crushing us. We were already on the back end of this, trying to fight our way in. But I thought it was a really good strategy. I really liked what I had done there, where I'd landed the U.S. fighters so that I could push more UK ground into Yunnan, so that we could keep Kwangtung dead zone, so we could continue to slowly but surely push our way up, and then we were going to be able to return these Russian infantry back while the fighters were supposed to land on 36, and cycling people in and out using the turn orders to put pressure on Japan while defend against Germany, make them keep those tanks planted. Every time, if you ever moved the tanks away from Persia, it's going to give me opening one way or the other, and every time you moved his Air Force back to try to challenge these guys, it gave me a little more wiggle room up here. And so I was going to keep trying to wedge my way in and keep him pegged here, because he couldn't move the tanks over without giving me a lot of freedom here. So it was getting interesting, and we had quite a few. We had, 19 ground on in here, so it was getting, this is starting to pile up. So he's going to take a lot for him to be able to even to crack Africa in a little bit. So I felt like we had a good plan. It was going to take me another 50 rounds, though, to be perfectly honest, to turn it, to get this, and it's just going to be a slow try to creep out this way, eventually creep back, try to get this factory, and then start creeping over while holding this line right here the entire time. So it was going to be slow. He was playing the game very well. He started moving his bombers back into Caucasus, so that was going to create some challenges too. So I don't know that we could have done it. We were starting to make a little headway, but it was going to take a long time. So there we go. That's going to be the end of this game. I'm going to wrap this one up, and I'll forfeit this one here in just a minute. But let's see if we got did anybody load up yet? Bishop Rhodes. I do not know who they are. But we'll record that game. So I'm going to log off here and get ready to record that one.